This is a high time to talk about the water and water management and water pollution. You know that the honorable judgment of the Supreme Court verdict emphasized on the judgment of the Mehta case versus Union of India. Water depleting pool. It is an ample effect on application of the anthropological effect and also for the natural climatic exchange. As the rising of the global warming 1.5 degrees Celsius, this is a high time to reach out. Our own water as a pure gold is vanishing. You know that ex-president of Barack Obama emphasized this is the last generation to mitigate ourselves with the climatical exchange, but it is the right time to application our own mindset, our own evolution and the particular actions. So as you consider water is a state subject, right? So you know that the Indian population is 18% and only 4% of the water is available. That too particularly 1% is only the fresh water. If you concentrate the chronological order, what is the negotiation behavior over it? One is water is a subjective interpretation in terms of the ocean. That consists of a 93%. And if you concentrate the Himalayan glaciers and ice caps, that consist of very nominal and a little bit of the groundwater. After the groundwater itself, with the availability of surface water is available, and thereby the biomass water and so far. So the chronological disappearance is not a big task because it is a climatical exchange. But whereas in case of Homo sapiens, that is we, are we aware about the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in terms of water management, and are we aware about how to mitigate the water pollution? You know, it is a judgment of the Mehta versus Union of India. The consideration of the awareness to protect the interest of the Ganga River. So, as you know, earlier Ganga River is most precious as a river of the India, right? Ganga is a river of India. But thereby all the pollution in terms of the dead bodies and the pollution in the industries and so far is manipulated. So amplification effect or the consideration of the circular challenges over here. So whereas we have to protect our gold, because it is not a subjective of one domain, we know that Panchabhutas, there the water is available for one among the concept in terms of our own Vedic era, right? If you concentrate the Harappa Nagarikate, Indus Valley civilization, Dholamira is one of the best practices of the water management. But what we are, even we have a sophisticated modern technology, we have an amplification effect of awareness, but our youth are not willing to accept water is just free of gas. They are not believing it is our resources. As you know, Honorable President Barack Obama says, it is the last generation to mitigate our climatical exchange, whereas there is nothing is available for the future generation if we are not protecting the climatical exchange. The climatical exchange, 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming is rising, Paris climate, Cummingum and Montana Protocol and so on. But this is a high time. Why it is high time for India? You know that Deccan Plateau, the Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, most vulnerability situation happens for the groundwater depletion. Whereas in the southern Karnataka also, it is not a big basket problem. Yes, of course, it is a big basket problem for them. You consider the water become commodity as a precious gold in India. You know that whereas you wanted to call it is a gold, you have to address it as a gold. It is not a free of basket. So youths are not aware about how to segregate our own sacred water in a precious way. It is not a free of anything which is needed for a free, that is a letharginess or laziness behavior. So this is a high time to talk about the water management in terms of the water pollution way and in terms of the water scarcity way, right? So I have addressed some of the important objectives here in the statistic way. One is India accounts, you know that the population of India, 18% of the population, whereas in case of availability of the water is only for 4%, that particularly for 18% of the population. And if you concentrate the fresh water is only 1%, right? And this is why very rarely become to witness and obligation necessarily to challenge over the period after period. As you know, the Niti Ayoga, the think tank committee, earlier it was the planning committee. In 2015, it was changed. It addressed the vulnerability, the worst water management crisis. So it is a report suggested. You know that 128 out of 122 countries, that is the vulnerability in case. And if you consider the state bias, the Deccan Plateau is more or less swimming off. So what do you mean by swimming off? It is water scarcity level is very, very, very high. And pollution is over. When the pollution increases, absolutely the water scarcity will be mismatching, right? So, absolutely it is a Niti Ayoga report, and you know that water is a state subject as a concurrent list and state list and center-state relation as a Karkarya Commission report, and it is emphasized in a state list. So water is every individual list also. So we should not believe that it is only the objective of the government body. It is our own precious stone or precious metal or the precious elements. So it is our high point nature. Without water, nobody is going to sustain, right? So this is one. As a Buddha quote, the gate filled by drop, what is that meaning? In terms of the pollution mitigation, or in terms of the worst water crisis in scarcity of the water, what is the high time? When you are thinking aware about the water as a pure gold or the precious element, you are thinking, yes, absolutely, it is my propaganda as a fundamental duty. Protect the interest of the nature, Article 51G and Article 48 emphasis on it. And it is our most important factor is Article 39A as a direct principle of state policy. So you have to consider on reports. It is not just a numerical objective, 341 out of 400 rivers are polluted as a central pollution board. So CPCB emphasized on 2018, whereas now 2025 or 2026, it is an objective of 351 to 372, right? So it may not be, it is not a decreasing phenomena, it is increasing phenomena. So there the India lies, where the India lies, that is what the meaning. And I have spoken of the few of the literature review, whereas this is not subjective interpretation of management crisis, this is a pure technological aspect. Whereas in water pollution aspect, that H.S. Govardhan Swami sir, he is our head of the department when I was in my BE Civil Engineering, and I studied in Rajarajeshwari College of Engineering. He did especially the work on the hydrolysis and management of the water resource. He is a great man. He suggested the pure implication on this particular matter. Water temperature was taken at the spot using thermometer and thermometer, and estimating the dissolved oxygen and biological dissolved oxygen. You know, in a water, the pH level is important. What do you mean by that? The drinking level condition, that is a 7, pH 7. And BOD, COD, it is also an important factor, dissolved oxygen, biological dissolved oxygen and chemical dissolved oxygen, right? So three principles are there. As you know, the elements I further shown in my slide, I have little bit of technological aspect also to produce you. So he is a champion in the this thesis. So he published the many more effort and the most affected stations, and he emphasized the segregation of many more effect, the effect of integration in terms of organization and in terms of awareness, in terms of technological sphere. So this is one type. And as a result, I said that the water, the pH, dissolved oxygen, biological oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, alkalinity, total hardness, chloride, fluoride. This is a key pillar to investigate in the environmental sphere or environmental lab. Or the water should be pure. The pH should be less, whether it is a basic or acid, pH is a more basic or acid. So we should a neutral one, pH is equal to 7. Then only we can drink it. So this is an investigation parameter so for the technological aspect. When as UPSC sphere, I don't think so it will be very useful, but yes, you have to know about the water, inside the water, how technically purified, so that you can notice whether it is changeable or exchangeable or not. And you know that the recommendation is a taluk level station should be there, bio-friendly mechanism should be there in terms of the agriculture. It is a backbone of India. Earlier we saw there is nothing problem of water because everyone are propaganda of agriculture sphere. But now the youth are not come up, not having any knowledge with respect to agriculture commodity. Only they are having a food that to be very limited in a fast food way. So water is gone away in their mind. So this is one of the sphere, right? So BOD is higher, COD is higher. That is a new investigation. What is BOD? What is COD? Earlier we studied in SLC or 10th standard regarding BOD, COD, but whereas that is only in syllabus way. Now people are not at all interested in the BOD, COD, pH, alkalinity. They want only the water, but they instigate themselves. The water is available only for me. It is not for my future. Whether you want a generation or not, you want a generation. Then you have to protect your interest in terms of the goal of what you have, the water, right? This is what the phenomena. And I have considered another important managementical thesis. This is an important Niti Ayoga consideration. It is emphasized the 18% of the population, which regarding only availability of the water is 4%. So the approximately 6 million people will face water crisis by 2030. I don't think so it is a long days. Now considering 2026, another 4 years, it is a big jump. This report was happened in 2018. Still now it is the same problem. People are very effective in Rajasthan, and it is a little bit shown. The Himalayan glaciers are 32% depleting. So what happens when it is depleting? The lakes are fulfilled, the surface level water is rising, so that the pollution and also the rising phenomena, there may be a chances of flood, and it is estimated from the World Meteorological Organization. So it is estimated the International Meteorological Organization (IMO). The half of the India in the northern state are picturized in a flood way in the future of 2050. So you know there's a twin problem, right? Multi-sector problem. Water scarcity and water pollution and the depleting the Himalayan glacier in terms of carbon, CO2 rises and global warming. This is one picture. And why the challenge of water pollution as a management protocol in terms. You know, there is a technology plus administration divided by management. We need a technological management in order to provide the solution. We need an administrative management in terms to produce our own globe to protect the interest of the individual, right? Whether it is water is only for subjective of human being? No, it is also for the animal, right? It's also for the birds. So it is nowhere. Each soul has its own dignified nature. And we have Article 21, but whereas our animals are not. This is our ideology. That is a big chunk of problem in the mindset and concentrated oriented behavior. We should not be biased. We should not be opinion based. It is our high point. That is what the implication here. Increasing level of urbanization, industrialization policy. You know, 1991 LPG reform, that's a famous one. And you know, the 12th Planning Commission and 10th Planning Commission, earlier, 8% of the GDP target, Human Development Index, and also it is targeted for the liberalization, globalization, privatization. What for? If you are not believing the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? So what do you mean by Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? Inclusivity in terms of the people and animals and the globe, especially in terms of the biome, ecosystem and environment, right? So it is our high time. Need a poor industrialization with a high picturized industrialization. We need to decorate our poor data in terms of the rich data, and we need to know proper disposal channel to high disposal channel. It is in our hands, right? The bare hands cannot be shaken, right? The world is shaken when it is obligation necessary to interpret ourselves. The world is shaken. Absolutely, my dear, world is shaken if you are not protecting the water, right? So this is a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and I wanted to convey you. How many of you are believing Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? Is there anybody who is not willing here? I don't think so. Is there anybody noting that what you mean by Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? That is a one family, one globe, one agenda, right? Whereas in case of water, why it is not necessary to obligate ourselves? Even though the many schemes are hampered, conquered, and schemes are implicated, I don't think so the direct benefit transfer will happen or not. But Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, are we really follow the concept of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? This is the big question mark for the individual soul to soul, right? We are not thinking in the aspect of the mind, It is a great man of the legacy of the people of technological expert, and also the management administration protocol experts are managing it. But we have to think ourselves with the awareness level. If I wanted to have the water, I should not be waste. That wastage will cause a next generation or else. If I alive at 120 years, definitely it's for me. Because Niti Ayoga emphasized 2030 is the worst crisis. Right? I hope you people are there at 2030. Let us see on that how many of you are available water management, how many of you are available the water resource as a propaganda. So this is a high-tech problem. As the globalization is improved, right? So industrialization, warming, and digital era, 2005 onwards is a digital era. What is the high-pitch area? Whether it is a mobile, or whether it is a YouTube, or whether it is an orange economy, or whether it is a circular economy. There is a high-pitch area in food, and the water, and the climate, and the education. So there is a 4 pillar here. So you have to concentrate on it. And the source of water pollution. With regards to the pollution, there is 2 point sources. One is a point source and another one is non-point source. And if you consider the point source, it is a direct one. One is oil spillage and factories, municipality, and animal feeds, right? Agriculture. The agriculture in terms of Punjab and Haryana, staple burnings are happened. And the direct indirect cause happened for the Delhi. The metropolitan area is very much of the traffic, and 80% of the traffic are consideration over the air pollution mechanism, over the noise pollution mechanism. You don't think so the metropolitan area having a crisis of water? Definitely it will be, because more the construction, less the trees, and less the trees, there is nothing else is much in the water, right? You have to respect the water, my dear. Then only it will be, right? It will respect you when you respect something. So you have to be more humble towards the water, right? This is an agenda of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And causes of the marine pollution. As I emphasize, the human is a subjective of one globe. He is not a final, or she is not a final. Any Homo sapiens, in terms of humans, are not final. It is our globe. In the globe, humans are one part, animals are one part, birds are one part, right? So, are we care about our fishes? We are only delicious having a fish, right? Malnor fish, karnamenu, right? So this is only this picture. The global fish is 8% of the GDP, right? And we export 8th rank in over the globe. So second highest rank in terms of the food. But 128 out of 122 countries in terms of protecting the water. So you consider these statistics. Water is a big junk for human beings. So we have to protect our water in terms of the aquaculture. Fisheries should be there. And as a fisheries gives a blue economy, we have to protect them. Otherwise your blue economy is not there. Right? If you concentrate the plastic pollution, 1 million plastic is hectic in nature. You keep on adding it into ocean, because it is a disposal mechanism you thought. If you keep on adding, what will happen? It will be clogging for breathing for a fish, right? So it is a global sickness. It is not an individual sickness, it is a global sickness. You have to understand it. And impact of the aquaculture, as I said, the threat of the marine population, depleting the resources, and that each and every causes or the challenges has its own significant matter of exchange. If humans are anthropologically done it, many times 99.99% humans are vulnerability over there. They are the key pillar to make disproportionality usage of the water and maintaining this awareness to interest of the protect of the nature. There, the result will come to animals and birds. So, what they are doing, what the animals and birds are doing, it is a cause of action of the humans. That is what the vulnerability. And importance of the marine system, it employs nearly 56 million people and 12% of the world population. 18% of the world population of 12%. You know how delegate made a wonderful approach, right? And GDP of the coastal is 38%. Total GDP of the coastal of India. You know the coastal zone? Have you noticed that? Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha, nearby the Chhattisgarh too, right? This is the coastal zone. If you concentrate the GDP 38%, that's a very numerically figure, but are we capable enough? It may be reduced 5% because you don't have a fish. There is nothing a blue economy. If you keep on adding the plastic, 12 million plastic you throw away to our Bay of Bengal, our Arabian Ocean, and our Hindu Mahasagara, as like an economic goal, right? You people are thinking an economic goal. You add it, it will be collapsing, and there is nothing is added. And this is the system. And there is a recent article, I don't think so it is recent because it is a 2022 objective. There is a HPV in London. The crisis is severe attack on the water clock. So as water problem pollution arises, the disease also uncontrollable, right? When you are neglecting your attitude or when you are neglecting your sphere of interest of something, it will be hampered the opposite result. Have you noticed on it? This is what the example, the clear-cut example in the 2022 said by UK Health Security Agency, United Kingdom. They emphasize the transmission have beyond the north flows of group of persons in terms of water pollution level in London. So this is the key case study. It is picturized in a recent article in the Deccan Herald itself. Sriram Nashman is an author on that. So you have to think twice. And I have emphasized a few engineering factors to mitigate the water pollution. I don't think so it will be useful for you, but as an awareness, as a young buddies of UPSC sphere, you can notice here, Badalang system which is helping for a debris collection. See, this is the Badalang system, this is the picture. The plastic is submerged and this is the Badalang system. The plastic is evacuated and collected in the oversphere. So huge number of plastic will be, the solid particle is dissolved. So this is one kind of approach to mitigate the picture, and we are using it to Kedar, UP, India. So this is what right now it's currently using. And the anaerobic bacteria collected by grey fresh water, that what do you mean the anaerobic bacteria? You have a polluted water, that is a grey water, and you have to use the microbial activity in a bacterial way. So what is pollutant matter when eating up bacteria? So remaining what is that is a fresh one. So it is a cyclic in nature but very cost high in nature, very significantly low profile in nature. So this is one kind of engineering aspect. And floating wetland to make pollutant free. As we have a Ramsar site. What is Ramsar site? This is one approach to protect our interest of the wetland, right? International global sphere. Where is the headquarters? Headquarters is in Iran, right? That is a Ramsar is in Iran. And we have 99 wetland as per now and 3 wetland added right now. In this year only, 2026, 3 wetland added. One is from Gujarat, another one is from Uttar Pradesh, another one is from Uttar Pradesh. Seku and Patna wetland and so far. So, as wetland is, when is the wetland day? The 2nd February. So, 2nd February is the wetland day, right? So, are we interested to protect our wetland? You have to. Otherwise, it will be a clean mirror to watch over the water as it clean or not. Because wetland is a pure water condition. And the mangroves. As the mangroves, the Similipal National Park was added, and also the mangroves interest, our globe mangroves, Sundarban mangroves, and Beta Karnika in Odisha, Sundarban in Odisha, West Bengal. So it is all the picturized phenomena to protect our interest in terms of water. So mangroves and wetlands are the key pillars to identify, okay, this resource is perfect or not. So this is one kind of approach. Here there is a wetland protein free, that is it's a square in nature, and we are protecting it, all the shrinkage of the carbon will be healing. So as healing, the water will be purified automatically. This is one objective, it will be taken care of multiple one. So this is one. And there is an oil spill cleaned by hair technology. You have a hair, right? It is used, I don't have. You have a hair. So whether it is useful, you can use it here, right? The oil spillage technology. There is more water having more oil, and if you concentrate the spread of hair, what it happens? It will connect the oil particles, oil stimulations in a particular junction. So hair hydrophobic and bioabsorbent. Hair will absorb the oil, right? So what happens? It will be clean. So this is one kind of objective in engineering technology, very cost effective, it is applicable in the Kudia river of Odisha. We done it. And interpreter river cleanup mechanism. See, this is a key condition. This is an interpreter. Okay, this is an interpreter. So there is a carryway baggage. Okay, if the pollution is here, if the pollution is not here, you can segregate over it. So it's a clean mechanism, hydrostatic solar power device, because you know that more or less we are moving for the renewable energy. So you will have 192 gigawatts, and more than that, 85 gigawatts are solar energy. So we are propelled enough. As you know, the ocean or lake are manifesto towards the sun. Like any Panchabhutas are aspirations to obligation in necessary way to protect our interest as condition of environmental sphere. So this is one objective. And consider the purification of the groundwater, 30 minutes groundwater churn. You know that this man is scientific research, Anjan Mukherjee, the marine chief engineer. He is a marine chief engineer and developed the tetralytic disinfection reactor, fit and forget device. What it happens? It will be propelled here, this is the device. When you propel here the groundwater, it will be absolutely heat. When the heat is overlapped, the particular solute or the microbial activity will collapse, right? Because it won't be stayed in a long-lasting way in that particular heat. So it will be reduced. This is also one kind of engineering methodology. You know that this engineering methodology, I just have an application oriented. It won't be making you in UPSC sphere. Anyway, you are going to a management, you are not a technical person. As I am a civil engineer, I maintain the degree over the technology management and administration. So this is one topic of Tamil Nadu case study, She is a DC Pannami. She is a district magistrate, her initial is DC Pannami, okay. The water management work, she got an award over it. So what kind of effort she did it? Silt allocation cleaned, recycle and reuse, green cover increased, loft of encroachment and cleanness. One of the objective. Anyhow, water is a state subject. So every state has its own concern on their water, right? So each and every district should maintain the water purification or the water management, right? So whether it is the condition, then only the global or national level water will be assessed or adjusted in a propagated way. So she did a wonderful approach over there. She got awarded Water Conservation and Management Award in the national level sphere. Honorable Prime Minister emphasized on it. And you know that this is one of the case study of Bengaluru and water pollution mitigation, the booming. It is an NGO, right? It is an NGO, and their door-to-door campaign, they aware the youth, get rid of 7,000 kg of garbage. That garbage is instigated, the plastic mainly, that is 1 million plastic is instigated to any kind of river, any kind of lake within the peninsula of Bengaluru. So this is a global phenomena. The NGO is a Vibhutipura Lake project, and 250 volunteers are there. So why can't it is not? It is our high time. If they have done it, why can't it is our not? And you know that water is a sustainable goal, right? What is water and sustainable goal? Sustainable Development Goal, United Nations, 196 countries are appeared, and there the 17 global agenda maintained. And we got 99 out of 167 countries, right? So, this is an achieving standard. life below water, that is the SDG 15 and the SDG 16, life above and life below. We have to protect our interest. And the goal 6, ensure availability and water and sanitation. Goal number 14, that is water and a life below water. So it is our high time. What do you mean by sustainable? Anything which you contain the long lasting, right? For the future to future, it is not only your property. You are using it just 100 years or anything. It is your game ball of 100 years, just gone. You are there here just 100 years, but Earth is here as many long. The evolution takes place from the Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest. So it is a survivability case for the next generation. People should aware the youth, act like me, right? And there is a policy framework. India is one of the 4th industrialization principle. As you know, the Industrial Global Network is manifesto, and the GDP of the India is nearly the 7 to 6.5, and it is rising so far, and third largest economy, but whereas we need a background verification in terms of the water management, that is one is capacity building and data integration, financing, regulating, innovation, integration, stakeholder management, and monitoring, clear role, and appreciate with the center and state. So it is on the couple of the activity which we do. Agenda 21 is a Paris Agreement that we know. Stockholm Convention we know. Ramsar Wetland Convention we know. Mangrove, Sundarban we know. But whereas, and organ depletion, Montana Protocol, that we also know. And conservation biodiversity, that is what? The Niagara Protocol. So we know that all the protocols, but we should investigate ourselves in terms of water. Why it is not there? Every day you are having a drinking of water, that is maybe 1% of the water you are drinking. So 97 is waste and 2% is unavailable. So only the 18% of the population is having this scenario. What about the world sphere? We India is about 145 crores population. But what is the agenda of the global network? That is vulnerability. That's why water governance is the governance of the technology, governance of the water management, governance of the administration. So all the 3 indices are important here. And Waterman of India, Dr. Rajendra Singh, he is a man of the water, and he is from Rajasthan. He investigated the water pollution area and clean up and come up, and the water tanking available, rainwater harvesting especially. His notable works are awarded from the Prime Minister, and he is a great man, and he built the Mackay Award, Stockholm, Mackay Award, Roman Sayani Mackay Award. This is the second highest award of internationally, and Asia Pacifically it is the first highest. It is also called as Asia's Nobel Award. So what a man he is. He is from India, right? And government strategy, that the Namami Ganga project in 2015 and 2014, effective abundance of pollution, regeneration of the Ganga. As you know, the verdict of the Supreme Court, the very high picturing of the case on studying of vulnerability of pollution, because Ganga river is subjective in terms of the dead bodies, plastic, vulnerability, and so forth. So even Ganga Snana, Tunga Pana, that is a verdict. But whereas in our case, Ganga is not there, the Ganga is not visible enough. You know that the Kumbh Mela happened recently. This is the Mahakumbh Mela 144 years afterwards, right? So every one nautical Purna Kumbha, it will be hampered. It is located in the UP and Prayagraj. There is a Trigam center. One is Saraswati, Godavari and Yamuna. No, Saraswati, Godavari, Yamuna. But you consider here, how many of you are gone? Many are. And what is the condition of water? Gone away. Very much interested in nothing, whether you are cleaned or not. Secondly, you are cleaned. That's a holy bath. But what about the environmental sphere? That is a vulnerability. People should think on it. It doesn't mean that you should not go, but you have to go in a clear way. In the interest of the holiness and the interest of the nature of environment. Both should be done in a parallel way. That is what the objective. And the Jal Jeevan mission, that is purely on the water scarcity aspect, We have hierarchy done, or every drop counts. That is what the objective of global environment, and it is also an aspirational project in terms of international sphere for the India concern. And now 4 crore tap connections are done, and 100 districts have achieved Har Ghar Jal, rural and remote specific oriented. You know that. Then again, a committee, we go to Mishra in terms of the water management, or the water pollution, or the water conservation. It won't be fulfilled the lecture. Mishra, he is an IAS officer, and he suggested the implication to protect our nature in terms of the water as a state subject, and it is a gold resource. He emphasized the efficient irrigation system, Har Ghar Ke Pani, and also the Pradhan Mantri Sinchai Yojana, that is for the irrigation, every drop counts, that is the irrigation, and so on. Maintain adequate fund to management. You know, fund functionaries are very important, especially in the 16th Finance Commission. Arvinda Paragoria, the chairman, are emphasized the water allocation as a fund. 9.37 crores lakh crores are happening for this budget. There, local governance, Article 243, 73rd, 74th Amendment of 11th and 12th Schedule instigated water management is a criteria to develop the local body. You know, now it is Ashok Dalwai Committee, three-tier system. So we are maintaining it in a projecting way. Whereas it is a 5th schedule, 6th schedule, doesn't matter. We have to protect. It is our knowledge. That is what he emphasized. And Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh is a modern participatory multi-connection activity. Where there is a problem, there is no solution. We have to run the solution to pollution or pollution to solution. That is the question mark to you. Now we are going a solution to pollution. That is not the way. We have to go to a pollution to solution. That is the way. So this is a high time to reduce the conflict between human and the awareness. You know that our own awareness are conquered our brain, our soul, our body. So Trilateral principle is that to protect our environment. It is our high time to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. In a kutumba, you have to think it is a kutumba. Then only you can rectify it. So this chapter, more or less the General Studies 3, environmental sphere, the mains 150 and 250 marker. Whereas, very next approach is, it is your awareness session, and you know that this topic are not only a subject of writing a 150 to 250 mark answer. This is a high term of awareness, right? So every drop counts. Is there any doubt? Thank you.